These 7 weapons will shatter a narcissist's ego. Watch them suffer. Ever seen a narcissist go through life seemingly unscathed, causing harm without a care? It's frustrating. Today, let's focus on factors that can actually cause them distress. But let's be clear, this isn't about seeking revenge, which often does more harm than good. I recommend taking the high road, leaving with your integrity intact. Before we explore what hurts a narcissist, it's crucial to note that their distress isn't always obvious. They won't admit vulnerability. If they claim distress, it's often a manipulative tactic. Understanding a narcissist's hurt reveals a turbulent landscape marked by retaliation as their initial response. Seeking revenge initiates a never-ending cycle, a conflict without resolution. The key is understanding their fragile ego. An untouched ego remains intact. Disrupting this balance triggers their need for vengeance, a pursuit that serves their agenda. It's a semblance of control they crave, and revenge becomes their currency. One glaring sign of a wounded narcissist surfaces in their swift act of severing ties. Should you, unwittingly or otherwise, inflict injury upon a narcissist's ego in a relationship, be prepared for potential abandonment. However, understand this isn't a definitive indicator of having hurt them. Their propensity for discarding individuals extends beyond instances of perceived injury, often occurring arbitrarily, dictated by whims or calendar date. Familial and friendly dynamics with narcissists echo a similar sentiment. A slight provocation incites an unyielding disconnection. There's no room for amends or second chances in their world, a paradoxical stance considering their insatiable appetite for repeated opportunities. Surprisingly, a seemingly innocuous act, such as declining plans, can inflict the same hurt as a grievous offense. The narcissist's reaction remains unmerciful, showcasing their wounded state through immediate detachment without a second thought. Another glaring sign of their injury manifests in a smear campaign, a tool wielded with precision for retribution. Their aim isn't merely to tarnish, it's to relish in your distress. Failure to witness the desired impact prompts them to shift focus to other avenues to inflict anguish. Transitioning to comprehend what truly hurts a narcissist unveils 7 potent triggers. Beginning with indifference, this stance strikes at the core of their self-conceived grandeur. Your apathy challenges their grandiosity, signaling a lack of importance, thereby injuring their ego. Indifference stands as a recommended strategy against narcissists, not for vengeance but self-preservation. Embracing tactics like gray rock or the nuanced yellow rock strategy helps maintain distance, reducing susceptibility to their manipulative games. In examining the intricate workings of a narcissist's psyche, one critical factor that exerts considerable influence is the experience of shame. This profound sense of shame operates as a silent torment within a narcissist, often manifesting in episodes of intense rage, a spectacle unmistakable to those who have encountered the tumultuous storms of narcissistic wrath. What's intriguing yet deeply troubling is the narcissist's estrangement from their shame, buried beneath layers of self-aggrandizement. They labor relentlessly to stifle these emotions, employing their grandiose self-image as an impervious shield against this emotionally harrowing vulnerability. Shame, therefore, holds a weighty significance in the world of a narcissist. Any hint of shame, whether triggered by external actions or existing as a pervasive internal sensation, inflicts profound anguish upon them. It's crucial to acknowledge that while shame is universally distressing, its resonance within the narcissistic realm amplifies its deleterious effects. Moreover, for individuals navigating relationships with narcissists, understanding and addressing personal shame become pivotal strategies, as shame serves as the trigger point for a narcissist's manipulative tactics. By confronting and resolving one's own shame, one can fortify against the insidious strategies employed by these individuals. An observation surfaces within the fabric of comments, often an overlooked treasure trove amidst online discourse. Specifically, comments accentuating the narcissist's detachment from shame stand out as poignant illustrations of their profound disconnection from this fundamental emotion. These comments, corroborating known truths, starkly highlight the stark disconnect ingrained within narcissistic personalities. Considering the notion of no contact, Within the context of interactions with narcissists, a revelation surfaces: narcissists, divested from the drama and entanglements they foster, appear as pitiable figures. Anecdotes abound of encounters with narcissists where their forcefulness and manic presentations elicit discomfort, leaving bystanders cringing at their brazen displays. These uncomfortable moments, a result of the narcissist's self-preservation mechanisms, underscore a precarious truth. They would be perennially subject to embarrassment if not for their defense mechanisms. It's an intriguing conjecture, one that holds truth in its balance. If not for the barricades erected by their defense mechanisms, perhaps narcissists might not consistently exhibit the behaviors that define them. This assertion brings forth another facet of pain inflicted upon a narcissist: no contact. The deliberate choice to sever ties, regardless of the narcissist's desires or perceptions, inflicts a tangible hurt. It disrupts the anticipated narrative of perpetual desire for reconciliation, shattering the illusion of their significance in one's life. The act of implementing no contact effectively communicates a powerful message, one that declares indifference to their influence. Blocking access and forging ahead with life conveys a potent declaration: you are inconsequential. For a narcissist, this translates into a poignant trigger to their insecurities, unearthing the uncomfortable truth that, concealed beneath layers of grandiosity, lies a foundation of deep-seated insecurity. The intricacies of a narcissist's existence remain shrouded in this delicate dance between a facade of grandeur and the relentless weight of their underlying insecurities. This interplay, often concealed within the intricate dynamics of human interaction, continues to fascinate and astound observers attempting to decipher the enigmatic psyche of the narcissistic individual. Within the realm of navigating the complexities of dealing with a narcissist, there emerges a contemplation on retaliation and retribution. One comment, in particular, elucidates the notion that the ultimate retribution lies in disengagement, the act of severing all contact. Strikingly, this absence serves as an instrument of anguish, piercing the narcissist's core. Their penchant for conflict and turmoil is akin to reveling in a muddy quagmire. Steer clear, for residing in this discordant domain is precisely where they thrive. Indifference, a blade honed sharp, is a potent weapon, inflicting deep wounds upon their ego. The veracity embedded within this commentary resonates profoundly. Conflict, the sustenance upon which they subsist, while the absence and aloofness of no contact and indifference prove to be razor-edged for a narcissistic disposition. Another facet that beckons attention, previously hinted at, revolves around the concept of embracing your own felicity, epitomizing your fullest existence. This pursuit, independent of external influences, becomes a disconcerting notion for a narcissist. They thrive on the premise that your happiness is inextricably entwined with their presence, rendering them indispensable. Consequently, the absence of their presence, especially if one finds themselves entangled in the web of trauma they spin, can be agonizing. However, presenting the facade, regardless of its authenticity, that you are content sans their presence, that your life flourishes independently, inflicts a searing ache. A fascinating comment surfaces, emphasizing the profound effect of your happiness on the narcissist, a form of sweet retribution sans the entanglement of cosmic repercussions. The emphasis here lies in avoiding descending to the narcissist's level, in shunning the yearning for vengeance. The means to retaliate, if one must, are found in the realms of indifference and self-contentment, not in the pursuit of causing them hurt. A contentious ground arises when the topic of exposing the narcissist surfaces. This act, though enticing as a form of retribution, harbors inherent risks. The narcissist, notorious for their vindictiveness and callous lack of empathy, operates within a moral compass far removed from the ethical boundaries most tread. Purposefully exposing them often muddies one's own hands, entangling in a web of strife. Yet, amidst this caution, testimonies emerge where individuals dared to expose the narcissist and emerged unscathed. I unveiled his facades, labeling him a pathological fabricator, enacted a complete block, and altered my contact details half a year ago. His machinations failed to dent my armor. Boundaries were set, and his charade discerned. Instances like these, where a person dared to confront and lay bare the narcissist's nature, exist. This exposure could entail a direct confrontation or unveiling the truth to others, or perhaps a fusion of both. These instances, however, demand a complete severance of ties and mutual connections, a feat not easily accomplished. Even if achieved, the looming specter of karmic repercussions often casts a daunting shadow, one that most would seek to evade. Encountering the next aspect might be somewhat startling, and in my opinion, it might be more relevant to certain types of individuals classified as narcissists. Hence, I'd suggest that the covert form of narcissism places a considerable emphasis on how they are perceived as a negative entity. Once you start painting the narcissistic individual in a negative light, it tends to deeply affect them. Their perspective tends to view things and individuals in an absolute dichotomy of good versus bad. Therefore, when you begin constructing an image that depicts them negatively, even if some of it penetrates their defenses, which they're usually adept at fortifying, it can transform their self-perception into an entirely negative portrayal, even in their own estimation. For a narcissist, this is an exceedingly challenging mental space. Just try to recollect any instance when they regarded you as wholly negative and ponder upon the sheer viciousness with which they treated you. Now envision them experiencing that same level of condemnation towards themselves, inevitably accompanied by an overwhelming sense of shame. When one perceives oneself as entirely flawed, shame becomes an overwhelmingly pervasive emotion. Adding to this narrative, there's a comment that serves to reinforce this notion. Frankly, the bluntness of the comment provided a slight chuckle despite my aversion to name-calling. It's the sheer straightforwardness that elicits this reaction. I believe many of us can resonate with the sentiment expressed by that individual. Another considerable blow to a narcissist's psyche is the sensation of losing control, whether it occurs in small, subtle ways or on a grander scale. Minor instances could involve scenarios where they are not permitted to dictate dinner plans, assume leadership in a meeting, or orchestrate an event. All areas they firmly believe they should oversee and manage superiorly, regardless of their actual capabilities. These seemingly insignificant moments of relinquished control can profoundly wound them, despite their triviality. On the other end of the spectrum lies a more significant loss of control, an amalgamation of the earlier discussed facets. It materializes when the narcissist comprehends that they'd entirely lost their grip on you. They've held sway over you for a considerable duration, but suddenly find themselves unable to exert influence. This realization induces various stages of reaction. An illustrative comment by Kathleen elucidates one of these phases: first time tuning into your channel. Indeed, the narcissistic ex-boyfriend lost all control over me. Now he's attempting to reach me through my family. This action, seeking a connection through one's family, represents one of the steps they undertake once they acknowledge their loss of control over you. I have a forthcoming video that will delve into the myriad manifestations of a narcissist's response when confronted with this loss of control. It's segmented based on severity levels, ranging from initial attempts when they believe they might regain some control, to the extremities they explore when they're convinced that they've lost control entirely. I highly recommend watching that video. And if you found this discussion beneficial, please consider liking this content before you depart.